Spoilers are allowed. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel, and I decided a middle part was a good idea this morning. We have RJ Skarenki coming in and Samantha Robinson, a member. A bunch of fun people already hanging out with us, which is very nice. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is kind of like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, except all of the kids are dead and there's no candy. So, welcome in. We're going to be talking a little bit about Final Destination Bloodlines. I can't believe I didn't get a laugh out of her with that one. Come on, that was good. But welcome in. We're talking a little Final Destination today, as well as other things, too. This is the Final Destination stream, unfortunately. Hopefully you have seen it. If not, maybe get out of here, because we are going to be talking some spoilers. Go watch this thing. Go check it out. It is having an awesome opening weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you a 7th installment is on the way, let me tell you. On top of that, though, we are going to open up the conversation to some other horror films we are very excited for out in the space today, which, let me tell you, I'm excited to get into that too. I want to kick off this stream by announcing that we are officially going to be counting down to the new I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out in the middle of July. As of next Friday, we will be 8 weeks away. We will have 8 countdown streams leading up to that one. So just like what we did with Final Destination, we're doing the same thing with the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. So lots of exciting stuff moving forward. If you've really been enjoying the content around here, well, now we're shifting gears, moving from Final Destination over to the fun little seaside town of the I Know What You Did Last Summer films, where the exact same crime happens 30 years apart from each other with different teenagers. It's going to be fun, so stop on by for those streams as well, but let's get into it. Let's talk a little more Final Destination, especially if you missed the stream from yesterday. Thank you. Madison just pointed something out, so I don't miss your guys' chats. I almost always forget to do that. Appreciate you a ton for that one. One other thing before we get into the horror talk, we do have a super chat goal for this first hour. If we meet it, any sort of super chats that roll in, if we get 10 of them, I will go for another hour of horror talk. So just want to throw that out there before we get into this. Let's get into this first crazy hour. Who is hanging out with us? RJ is number 1. Got in here and had just nothing but kind things to say, might I add. Saying, I just got back from shopping, gonna relax and enjoy KillJoy Jake's company. RJ, I'm enjoying your company as well. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Samantha Robinson, thank you for being a member. Saying, BRB, gotta grab some dinner before the stream. It looks like you're getting some pizza and I'm super jealous. We might have pizza in our future as well, let me tell you. Anakin's anger management therapist. I love that. I've just always loved that name. Saying, hey Jake, I saw a post about Scream 8 being greenlit and will start filming this year, but I don't believe it. Just wanted to know your take on it. Also, I started watching the MCU for the first time. A really interesting combination of chats there, might I add, Anakin. But I do believe that Scream 8 is likely in the works. This is too big of a franchise to fall, even if the new entry doesn't look so great. I think that no matter what happens with Scream 7, it's going to make a ton of fucking money. I'm going to be so real with you. They have announced way too many exciting things about it for it to fail. I mean, listen, if the Minecraft movie can make $1 billion, Scream 7 will likely be in that ballpark. I'm kidding, but it'll probably top the last 2 films, which is going to make me pretty salty, knowing the quality of what this film is likely going to be. But is that me judging a book by its cover before we even know anything about it? We haven't even seen any footage yet, so maybe I'm being a little preemptive here. But there's just so many things about Scream 7 I am just not loving the sounds of, and it just sounds like this franchise is about to eat itself, turn into the thing it once made fun of. And that to me would be so unfortunate. I would hate for that to happen to one of my favorite slasher franchises. I hope not. But I'm sure Scream 8 is definitely already in development, is already probably going to be moving forward. I guarantee you, no matter what 7 ends up being, it will make a fuck ton of money. You don't just announce that we're bringing back all of these beloved characters who may or may not be dead and just expect people not to show up for that. So I guarantee you Scream 7 will make money despite the quality of the film itself, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm sure a Scream 8 will happen. Erica is with us as well, who is not only a member, but a beloved mod. Thank you for being here, Erica. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are keeping the chat safe and fun. But again, I just want to remind you guys, we have some more people rolling in. There will be Final Destination Bloodline spoilers discussed on this stream. So if you have not seen the film, you might want to click off, maybe watch this one when you've seen the film itself. Come on back and watch the discussion. I am so out of breath. I am so sorry. We spent the morning setting up a bunch of really fun stuff for the gaming channel, which we will be going live tonight, hopefully on both YouTube and Kick. So check that one out at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's why we're doing this stream a little earlier than usual. Shirai? Is that how I pronounce that? Shirai West. Yo, hello. How are you? Shirai. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a horror fan. What's your favorite horror movie? Let me know. Jace Crawford, thanks for being a member. What's up, Jake? What's up, Jace? I believe this is the person who had Michael Myers on a skateboard as their profile picture, which is rad as fuck. Radical, as the kids say, right? This is still cool. This isn't a 90s thing, right? Please just say yes to make me feel like I'm less old. Skull and Bones Production is saying, yo, what's up? What's up, my friend? My Ellen Ripley profile picture wearing friend. How are you this evening? Let me know. Let me know how you are. Would love to know. Madison Kazmarski is also here, and she's also there. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere. Let me tell you. As Dr. Seuss would put it. Marley Kai 2000 is saying, hello, Jake. Hello, Marley Kai. I hope to see you at the gaming stream tonight. That would be fun. No pressure or anything, but it would be cool. Talking Star Wars is saying, loved Bloodlines. I did too. I had a very good time with this movie. I'm very excited to dive a little deeper into it and get into some weird talk with this film as well, because there's a lot to dissect and discuss. Again, I've had another day to think about it, and I have some more things to talk about, some good, some bad. So we'll definitely break into that at some point on tonight's stream. Nikki Martin is saying, hello, Nikki. How are you? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Gabe Ruiz, I know you were at the stream yesterday. Last one until 7 happens. We'll still do streams and talk about Final Destination on them, of course. We'll have some general streams coming up here soon. But I also like having these focus streams kind of, somewhat focused on Final Destination. We've already talked about some other shit tonight, though, which nothing wrong with that. But we will have I'm sure we'll have some more Final Destination focused streams as more news comes out about the 7th entry, which is probably going to happen. Let's be honest. Thursday night previews, they made 5.5 million. I have not seen the numbers for Friday night yet. I meant to, and I forgot because I've had way too much stuff on my plate today, but I'm sure they were amazing as well. Definitely more than 5 million. A Krenich is also here. Thanks for being a member, who was also at last night's stream, saying, hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you for being here. Froggy Fresh Shitpost is saying, hear me out. What if they made a Final Destination movie on an airplane? You know what? That is revolutionary. I can't believe they never thought to do that. Not one time. Not a single time in any of these films. I think they should hire you as a writer. I'm going to be completely honest, because that's a great idea. The plane could explode in the first couple of minutes too. Psh, psh, oh man. Oh, we're cooking right here. We're cooking up something special. How did they never think of this? Tiffany Johnson is saying, Gabe, if we get that, Froggy, I loved that. Hell yes. Tiffany is just loving a lot of the things coming in here. Shirai is making sure that I drink some water. I have this gigantic glass full of crystal blue water. It is dyed blue, so I don't know if that's actually water or not. I kid. ASMR Ty is saying, Jake, now that you've watched House of the Wax remake, I have seen it. I'll ask this again. If the 3 strangers wander into the House of Wax territory, who wins? Ooh, that's an interesting fight. Similar horror villains, I would say. Similar, but not the same. I'm gonna, oh man, the strangers are kind of just 3 hillbillies stabbing people. You know what I mean? I feel like the House of Wax folks, like, especially if we're on their turf, I feel like they have an advantage there. I feel like they have a lot more weapons at their disposal. We're literally in a gigantic house that is made out of wax. I don't know how that makes any sense, but don't worry about it. I'm going to give them the advantage just because we're on their turf. They know their way around. They have a lot more weapons. They have there's like so many hidey holes and stuff in that fake little town in that movie. I feel like they would have the jump on the strangers personally. Even it would be a close fight. I don't think it would be like, oh, easy, they win. No, it would be a close fight, but I think they have the advantage simply because of the territory. They have their little hidey holes, a bunch of weapons all over the town. I think they win that fight personally, but that's an interesting matchup. I really like that a ton. Erica has thrown out a link to the gaming channel as well. Please go subscribe. We are almost at 800 subscribers, hopefully going on 1,000 sometime soon. And again, if you want to get more lives from this freaky guy with a part down the middle, and also this silly woman sitting next to me, we will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is approximately a little under 4 hours from right now. So stop on by. It's going to be a fun stream. We're playing some more Repo. NRU Cody, thank you for being a member, Cody, saying, I hope the next one we get a final destination where they are on a ship and someone gets a premonition and then gets off the ship and it sets off a new course of for new kills. So essentially a ship based, maybe like a cruise ship based thing. I like that. I think that's fun. I like the idea of a cruise ship because that's kind of already been tackled in one of the novels, but we've never seen it put to screen. I've talked about it in one of the many videos we've done on this page recently, talking about some of the books. And I love the idea of a ship-based Final Destination, not shit, ship. let's make that clear. I would love that. I think that would be fun. A big explosion of a cruise ship, or maybe just a bunch of people partying on a yacht, for instance. And then it just blows up. Maybe another boat crashes into it, and one of the characters has a premonition. We all got to get off the boat. Might be a little more difficult to get off of a boat too than say a plane. Like, what if they've already like set sail? You know, right? They got to like jump off the side. Maybe people are getting eaten by sharks. That could be cool. There's a lot of opportunity, I think, for some really unique Final Destination kills in that situation. I like it. And you're also asking, how would you feel if we get a Hiya Sid and it's Stu's voice? And that just ends Scream 7. We just get a tease that maybe he's alive. I think you already know how I feel about that, Cody. Reign of Horror is saying, hey, everyone, hope all is well. Thanks for being here. You and your bloody handprint, you. Lighting Ghost has been a member for 20 months. Holy crap. Thank you for being here, Lighting Ghost. Appreciate that a ton. Thank you for your support for as long as you have had support. Lightning Ghost is saying, love Final Destination 6, but the new Weekend and Jenna Ortega film was horrible. Hype for Bring Her Back. Dude, I skipped it because the reviews are like, this is an advertisement for The Weeknd's new album, and that to me just feels like such a waste of time personally. I did not end up seeing it. I had tickets for it Thursday night, and I was kind of tired, and I saw the reviews were bad. I'm like, I might skip this one. Yeah, that's just really disappointing in my opinion. The Weeknd does not have a very good track record when it comes to film and television. So I don't know. I feel like maybe he should stick to music, which I hate to say because I love his I really do love his music. I'm quite a big fan, in fact. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks. I gotta see this. I guess I gotta see this movie just to really hammer home that opinion, but I've not heard one person say they liked it yet. And that's rough. That's real rough. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore, but it does seem like, it does seem like not only Rotten Tomatoes dislikes this film. So I don't know. I don't know. Kind of bums me out. Really does. But we'll see what ends up happening here. Mike Chunky Jordy is saying, don't forget to send the like button some love. I love that. Thank you for being here, Gina. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. A. Krenich is saying, horror movie admission here. I have a crush on Billy Loomis. Does not apply to real life. Good. If you like Billy Loomis just based on the looks, there's nothing wrong with that. But his personality is a little out of whack, I would say. I feel like that's not too crazy of a take. But totally fair. Him and his greasy hair. Ooh, damn. It gets me all riled up. I get it. I understand that take. Marcello Apo is saying, even though you just talked about Scream 7, what do you think about Scream 8? We don't know really anything about it. It's all just smoke and mirrors and rumors. People are saying it might focus on Sydney again. I don't even know if 7 is going to focus on Sydney. So I don't trust anything about Scream 8 at the moment. I'm sure it's coming. That's my one. That sounds gross, doesn't it? I'm sure that it's happening. That's my one thing about it that I can say for sure. Is it going to be... Do we know plot details already? I doubt it. I doubt anybody really does at this point. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll definitely get to that at some point. I do want to start doing Scream-focused streams starting next Monday, which is something I've been thinking about. So we'll be talking some more Scream on this page sometime soon. Seems like there's a want for that. So we'll definitely get back to some of that talk. Maybe even some Terrifier talk on the page soon. 2 franchises we're kind of just waiting for the next entries of at the moment. Hasn't been a ton of updates regarding either of these franchises lately, besides some smoke and mirror rumors, right? And not even really anything super exciting. I mean, yeah, Scream 8 is exciting, don't get me wrong, but it's not confirmed. You know what I mean? There's no confirmed big details have been put out in a very long time, is what it seems like. So hopefully we'll get something soon, though. Kyber Games is saying hello. Hello, Kyber. How are you? Welcome in. I love your logo. The KG on the white background. It's nice. It's very, very good stuff. Very sleek, one might say. Jamie Hill is also here saying hello. Hello, Jamie. How are you? Did you enjoy Final Destination Bloodlines? Let me know. Melissa Taylor is saying, hey, just wanted to pop in really quick before my workout to say Bloodlines was actually the reason I found your channel. I definitely plan on sticking around because you're dope as fuck. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. You're even more dope as fuck. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed Bloodlines a ton. And thanks for watching the videos. It really does mean a lot. Habib A is saying, how was the Tony Todd speech? It was great. Oh my God, it was emotional. It was heartfelt. I was in tears. I loved it. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it a bunch. It was a major high point of the entire film, especially if you know what was going on in real life. I didn't even know this in my review, but apparently they did just let Tony Todd say whatever the fuck he wanted during like the last little bit of it, and it's the best part of the entire scene. I did not know this, and I actually read an article about that, how they shot that scene, what was going on that day. And I guess they were just like, hey, you know, Tony, whatever you want to tell the fans, but we have a little slot here. You can just go off script, whatever you want to say, dude. And I guess those last few lines came from the heart, came from him. And it was, I mean, it's really emotional. It's all about just spend the time you have the way you want to with love and care for others. And just we're all gonna die, so let's make it great while we can. And I loved that. Oh my God, it was so wonderful, and to hear that come from essentially a dying man, it was just it broke my heart a little bit. I love Tony Todd to death, and seeing him one more time on the big screen was really exciting, but also very emotional. So I loved it. I loved it so much. I had such a great time with this movie, and that scene in particular was fantastic. Austin Allman is saying, I want a twin telepathy Final Destination, like two characters who are able to speak via some sort of shining bullshit between each other. Maybe that's how they're able to make sure that nobody dies or something. Okay, fuck it. I vibe with that. That is very fun. Raggedy Man is saying, hi all. Hello, Raggedy Man. How are you? A little raggedy, perhaps. Melissa Taylor is also saying Bloodlines was legit a lot of fun. I seriously hope they keep making more because it's always so fun watching a Final Destination movie for the first time. It is. I agree. I even said in my review, I don't know if any of these kills were like top 10 of the franchise for me, but like I still had a lot of fun watching them go down. And again, the characters I felt like were such a major strong suit of this film. I loved so much about this movie. If they want to just keep putting these out, I'm so down for it. Make it happen. Let's see what it's all about. Let's keep seeing more of these coming sometime soon. Ghostface is saying, what's up, Jake? After taking time to think this movie over, I've concluded that I loved it, but I still can't wrap my mind around that ending, and sadly it ranks as the second weakest behind Final Destination 2 for me. The second weakest behind Final Destination 2 is your least favorite. That's interesting. Now that's, okay. I respect the take. I just love Final Destination. That might be my favorite. I'm going to be honest. Final Destination 2 has some weird shit in it. I will admit. There's some things I don't love about that film, but that opening premonition is just, it goes hard. I mean, like, I feel like even people who haven't seen the series, like I asked Madison, like, I'm like, what do you know about Final Destination? And she always says, what's the one thing you know about Final Destination? The logs. The logs. Everyone knows the logs. I feel like you kind of, like, for me at least, Final Destination 2 has to rank kind of high. Because it's like, man, the logs, that's the most iconic thing, I think, from the whole series. But major respect. I'm sorry you did not like this one. Ghostface, I'm curious, what's your favorite Final Destination film? What's number one for you? Let me know. Put it down in the comments below. What else do we got going on here? The producer has said that the boat accident disaster is the one that they actually have tried planning. They can't figure out how to make it work. I bet you could do it. I bet you could. I mean, it would be a lot of CGI. It would be, it would probably be a lot of CGI, a lot of crazy stunts, but you could do it. I am getting behind in the chat, so I am going to move up a bit. If I did not say hi to you, I am so sorry, but we do have some super chats that I want to get to that do get pushed to the front of the line. So if you throw those out there, we're going to get to them as soon as possible. My Chunky Jordy has been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Gina. Appreciate your support. Saying, looking forward to seeing this when it's released on physical media in England. I really hope you enjoy it. I personally had a ton of fun with it. I know it is kind of getting mixed reviews from a lot of folks out there. Again, if you just look at Rotten Tomatoes, that has it at like a 90 whatever percent. I'm at the point where I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore. I think it does it have a 94, 93%. So that means like 90 some percent of critics would recommend this one. I just don't trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore after some of the weird rankings that they've had on there. But just outside of that, it seems like there's mostly a mixed response. Some people tend to really like this one, some people not so much. I personally had a very fun time with it. There are some very obvious flaws and some things that might bug you just as a movie in general, but it's things that I feel like this franchise has hit on before. It's nothing new for this series, and that's totally fine. There are some major improvements in terms of the special effects, character work, and that to me spells for a really fun movie. So I really hope you vibe with this one a ton. I know I personally did. You also sent out a KillJoy Jake membership that went to Melissa Taylor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it goes to someone who's new to the channel too, which is really cool. So that rocks. That rocks. Welcome in, Melissa, my chunky Jordy. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate you a ton. Kyber Games is sending some love from the EU. SK watched FD6 and then got the scary ambulance omens on my way home. That's terrible. I work as a driver, so I see a bunch of them every day. Not the omen. Are you talking about the first omen? Every day, not the omen was scary, but the omen was scary. Oh, you mean an ambulance omen. Oh, I got you. That is terrifying. I'm so sorry about that. I personally really enjoy. I really enjoyed this one. It does give you that feeling when you're walking out of the theater, like what's gonna fall and smash my fucking head into a million pieces. I feel that. I feel that a bunch. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you enjoyed those awful feelings of walking out of the theater and being like, what the fuck is going on? I'm horrified by literally everything mundane now. I get that. Sergeant Sad Guy is saying, saw Final Destination 6 last night. Lots of fun. Was with a crowd. Was surprised the amount of laughter. I don't know if there was a single person scared or nervous. Just something I noticed. Great film. Yeah, again, I don't know if this was a scary one, but it was very fun and very silly, and that's kind of all I was looking for personally. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Definitely see this one with a crowd. It is much better that way, I will say. Sheree West throwing $2 out there. Thank you for the support, my friend. Saying I have to go to sleep, but I will send some love. Thank you for supporting the page. It means a lot. I hope you have a good nap or just sleepy times wherever you are in the world. Maybe it's time for bed where you're at. It is the middle of the day here, unfortunately, but I can't wait to go to sleep. It's my favorite time of day. I always need more sleep. I never get enough of it. So enjoy, get some rest. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sending some love. Appreciate you a bunch. Joey Bagby's here saying favorite kill was either Howard Campbell or the Skyview Tower collapse. Howard's has not gotten talked about a lot on these streams, I will say. Him getting just his face cut up with the lawnmower. That was awesome. So I do agree. That one was that's one we haven't talked about too much. I liked it. I like that one. I like that one a lot. A Krenich also throwing $2 out there too. Thank you for supporting the page, my friend. I appreciate you a bunch. I appreciate you bunches. Thanks for being here. Mr. Luck wrote a small Final Destination story, and their nosebleeds when they begin to get premonitions, kind of like a Stephen King or a Stranger Things thing. Okay, I vibe with that. So people could see from the character that there is danger, so they act. I like that. That's fun. I always love devices like that in stories where it's like it seems like just a normal, not so crazy thing, but we've built it up with the audience to make them know that this means danger is ahead. I kind of love that about just another Stranger Things example. Will, when he's touching the back of his neck, meaning the mind flayer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Madison's not even paying attention to me. That's so fine. When the mind flayer is close to them in season 2, I'm gonna stay confident with that. It's the mind flayer. I know my Stranger Things stuff. Come on now. But that's a fun little device. I like that, Mr. Luck. I'll tell you what, they're looking for ideas probably for 7. So talk to the right people, rub some elbows, and who knows? Maybe that story gets onto the big screen at one point. Sawfan29 is saying, I'm already on Final Destination 3. I'm catching up to Bloodlines. Enjoy, my friend. We are talking spoilers, though. I will put that in there again, so hopefully I don't spoil anything for you. That would make me so sad. I would cry myself to sleep tonight if I knew that Sawfan29 had this film spoiled. That would suck. YTTY44 is saying, biggest fan here, 38th, my guy, so close. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you a ton. I really hope you enjoyed Final Destination Bloodlines. I know that I personally did. So let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. If you have any weird specific questions, throw them out there. We're here for it. Aaron is asking which Final Destination movie is better. Like, which one do I like the best? You know, I've really taken the weekend to think about it. I think I might like 2 the very best, but 6 is probably my second favorite. I loved Bloodlines a ton. I'm just thinking about, like, in terms of like balancing all the weird things that I like about this series, where would I rank them? And 2 for me, I think ranks at number 1, just because the characters are very likable. Some of them, not all of them, but you have the likable characters. You have that like throwback early thousands feel with Final Destination 2 that I would argue that 6 doesn't necessarily have, and that's okay. So I think that's why it's probably my favorite. But 6, Bloodlines, man, it is great. It really is just one of the better ones out there. I can't say, man, I just have so much love for this film. I love that we have characters that I don't hate. I love that this film didn't have to rely on that to tell a good Final Destination story. And that kind of just beats out all of my other little tiny issues with it. So I don't know. I really do love that about this film a ton. I'm not going to say that, I don't think that any of the Final Destination films are like perfect or anything like that. But in terms of fun horror, where I'm just like fun event horror, Final Destination is like king when it comes to that. So I love this series a ton. It's really one of those things where I'm not like very passionate in terms of how I would rank these, because again, I just feel like I could put on any of these and have a good time with them, really. I don't think any of them are perfect, but they're all very fun watches. And especially if you're with a bunch of buddies, you're just hanging out, we're laughing at a silly horror movie. This is the franchise to put on, man. It's always a good time every single time with all the entries, personally. So I really have I have a very loose ranking of this series. Really, I think my favorite Final Destination film is just the one I'm watching currently. That's really how I feel about it. It's nothing too hardcore or concrete that I would be like, no, this is the definitive best Final Destination. I don't know about that. There's a lot of good ones, and they're really all fun to watch. I like that you guys are putting your own rankings in there, though. That's really cool. We'll get to those in a second here. My Chunky Jordy has thrown $2 in at multiple times. Thank you for that. Thanks for helping us get to our goal here. Appreciate you a ton. I don't know why the counter still says 3. When we have received 4 super chats, but if we get to 9, we got the goal. That's what I'll say. If we get to 9 out of 10, so that's like, is that 6? Yeah, 6 more. I can't count. I'm terrible at counting. Rebecca S is saying, every time I go to the dentist, I think of Final Destination 2. That's so funny. Do you also chase pigeons when you run out of there in front of a bunch of construction workers? Let me know, Rebecca. That's really important to me. The Everything Guy is saying, expanding on the twin idea, what if one twin has a premonition of what will happen to the other twin? Just an idea. Or, let's take that a step farther. Both twins know how the other one is going to die, and maybe they're separated. They can't communicate that to each other. That could be crazy. That could be a tension-fueled scene where it's like, oh, we got to get to each other, and then they both die or something, because that would be fun. I don't know. That could be interesting. Oakley Reviews. I thought that was Oakley, like Tyler Oakley. Oakley Reviews is saying the gore in this one reminded me of Renfield. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's supposed to be a compliment, but yeah, it's a lot of VFX. That's not exactly anything new for this series, unfortunately, but there are some, there's some moments of practical stuff. The one thing I haven't said about Julia's death, which I have been shitting on a lot this weekend. When you have Stephanie ripping her arm out, that's a practical, baby. That's a practical fake arm, which was pretty sick. I did like that. That was nice. A lot of the other stuff, though, it doesn't. Julia's death is really the only one where I'm like, I don't know if that looked great, but I think everything in the hospital was awesome. When you have the big spring like just spinning through Bobby's head or whatever, that was pretty sick, man. I really enjoyed that a ton. Mr. Luck is saying, new subscriber from Scotland. Your review was the first I watched on Final Destination Bloodlines. That means a ton to me, Mr. Luck. Thank you so much. I appreciate that bunches. Oh my God. I just had a blast watching this one. And I was so happy that I really liked this film. It has become a very big series on this channel, which was awesome. I seriously cannot thank you guys enough for watching my very weird coverage of it, talking about the books a lot more than the movies. But it was so much fun, and it really breathed new life into this page, which I was like kind of starting to get worried about. So I cannot thank you guys enough for checking out the page and stopping over here, hanging out with me, talking a little horror with me. It really does mean a lot. So thank you, Mr. Luck, and just about everybody else who is new to the page and Final Destination fans. Froggy Fresh Shitpost is saying, I'd like a disaster to be at a water park or maybe the Leaning Tower of Pisa falling over. Finally. It's like, that's what it's been waiting for. That's what it's been waiting for this whole time, for the right person to stand underneath it. That's hilarious. I love that. Also, maybe a movie following the initial survivors of Skyview. You know, this was brought up last night. Like, would you want some sort of prequel? And let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, but I have some thoughts on this. Some sort of prequel that goes through all the other people who died, right? Here's my thoughts on this. Something I really liked about this entry was that there was this hint of optimism, this idea that, hey, these characters are inherently good people. Maybe we want to root for them to live. In previous Final Destination films, I feel like there's not a whole lot of tension with some of the characters because you're like, this guy is purposefully a dick and we're going to see him die at some point. Like, I just want the satisfaction of seeing this guy get ripped to shreds. Here, I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me where I'm like, oh, Stephanie's going to live through this. And Stephanie and her little brother, like Charlie, they're living through this. You know what I mean? That's kind of where my mindset was at a certain point. I think everybody else is going to die, but early predictions going in like first 20 minutes into the film, I really thought those two were making it out. I'm like, they're setting up these characters to be, typical standard characters that we keep coming back to as more of these movies go along. This film did not do that. And I really, really appreciated that a bunch because I feel like there's so many franchises that are trying to build up these big stories where maybe there just doesn't need to be. Maybe we can just continue to do pocket stories in a lot of these franchises and keep it simple and fun, you know? I think Final Destination Bloodlines especially just really understood that, and that to me is those are the kind of sequels and continuations I'm looking for. If we were to, point being where I'm going with all this, is that if we were to go back and just show all the other deaths, we already know these characters are going to die. Is there any tension there? I don't know. I really like what this film did for the series, and I almost hope that more entries moving forward apply it to their own set of characters. And of course, I want new characters too. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't want the same old characters again. But I just hope we can build up characters that we are actually rooting for and might make it out alive or not. So I'm hoping that they're able to do that. If we just follow characters we already know are going to die because Bloodlines told us that they're all dead, I feel like there's no tension there. Sure, we could have some really fun and inventive deaths that we haven't seen on screen yet, which I think at its core satisfies the itch of a new Final Destination film, right? But I would personally want to talk about a whole new story, a whole new thing that happened in universe, opposed to what had already happened. But again, throw your guys' thoughts and feelings on that out there. What do you want to see the other members that survived the Skyview tower collapse? Do you want to see them die on screen in a new movie? Let me know down in the comments. What's your take on that? Because just my shitty take is not the definitive answer. I want to hear what you guys have to say too. So let's get to it. Quiz is saying, did she die at the end because I remember she got cut like her grandmother in the beginning? Did she die at the end because I remember she got cut like her grandmother in the beginning? I'm really trying to think who you're talking about. We got pretty definitive deaths for all our main characters here. Spoiler alert. Spoilers in this stream. But I'm pretty sure everybody died that was in the bloodline. Not the people who were not in the bloodline. Do we think that Aunt Brenda, and I can't remember her dad's name, do you think they got together? This is a serious question I have. Do you think like after like literally all their family members died, do you think like those two just like started boning? That's my headcanon with this story is but I want to know what you guys think, because my juvenile ass is just going to say the craziest shit. JKZ Studios is saying, hey, KillJoy Jake, have you ended up checking my movies or trailers? Send them my way and I will watch them. I always try to watch weird shit sent my way. I'll tell you what, I am all about that kind of stuff. That's why I do this page. Um, what else is going on here? The Zekro Mizder is saying, what do you think about the characters possibly being related to those from the Skyview incident? You know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that idea. Would it muddy up the story that we just saw, though, is my question. I mean, I already think there is some messy stuff, which I wanted to get to this, and this is a pretty good segue into it. Wouldn't Tony Todd's character have been dead before literally everybody else in this film? Right? Does it? No? Am I right? Am I wrong on this? What are the rules with that? Now, someone clarify me if I'm just misunderstanding or what's going on here. But wouldn't Tony Todd's character have to die before literally everybody else who was born, in Iris in the Campbell family? Right? Am I wrong on this? Is that a plot hole? Is that an issue that I should have with this film? Or let me know. Because horror show, I see you saying no, Iris was. So yes, you're right about that. Iris dies, then William Bloodworth, but then all the Campbell family members, right? Am I wrong on this? Am I right on this? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I missed. No, he's not family. I know he's not family, but he did die in 69 though, right? Or would it be like the entire bloodline of Iris Campbell, then Tony Todd? So William Bloodworth is dead after the events of the film. Is that what I'm getting? It goes family after family. Someone said that. Okay, someone just threw that out there. It's why it was Iris's family before Tony. Okay, I'm wrong. Listen, the one true one has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Gotcha. Okay, understood. That was something I was confused about. I literally woke up with that thought in my brain. I'm like, what's going on with this? I am so sorry. I missed 2 super chats because my dumb thing scrolled past them. Apologies on that. My Chunky Jordy throwing $2 out there. Thank you. Saying I prefer the books. Ooh, very interesting. Hell yeah. I love that you prefer the books because after reading about them, I want to sit down and actually like read a bunch of these. The one in particular, which what was it called? Looks Could Kill. That one sounds so good to me. I love the idea of having a secondary antagonist in this franchise. One that is making deals with death, saying, hey, yeah, I'll kill all my friends so I can live. That sounds so fucking evil. I am so into that. Like that rocks to me. I would love to read that story. I kind of have I had the whole thing spoiled for me because I've been reading about it for literal months now. But I'll tell you what, I do want to sit down and see what that one's all about. The books are very interesting to me. I want to sit down and get through them. But my Chunky Jordy, I'm glad you really enjoy them. There's not a ton. I think there's like 6. There's 6 in an unreleased 7th novel. But I believe they're free on Google. So if you're hearing this conversation, you're like, Jake, where are the books? They're download. You can download them on Google, if I'm not mistaken. So check it out. Give it a watch. Some interesting stuff there for sure. A. Krenich is saying, we'll be sticking around after your Final Destination series. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. We have a lot of fun horror coverage and a lot of really fun horror movies on the way to talk about. So there's plenty to, trust me, there's a lot of things to be excited about in the world of horror. And not just, big franchise continuations too. I really want to make an effort to talk about some of the weirder stuff too, on this page, as I have before in the past. It's been tough. We got a lot of weird things going on behind the scenes. I'm running a gaming channel right now, and we're also working on a bunch of short films, feature films, weird shit like that behind the scenes. So just, it's been busy, but I do want to make an effort to cover more strange horror films on this page at some point. I just love staying busy. What can I say? But I really do appreciate you sticking around. We got some fun stuff on the way and some fun movies to talk about. Not just this summer too. We got some fun fall releases that I can't wait to get into. Apparently there's a new VHS film coming out this year. I don't know. There's not been an update on this since last year, it's May now, just to remind all of you guys who want to know more about this one, but we know nothing as of right now. So hopefully we get into some more talk about some other weirder horror films and franchises out there sometime in the future. But we'll be talking about it all. A. Krenich, thank you for the $2. Thank you for the support. Means a ton. Thanks for being here. We have so many people hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate you all a ton. My Chunky Jordy just threw in another $2. Just a reminder, only 2 more super chats and we'll go for another hour. So, because it says 7, but there was 8. It just didn't count one of them. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, if we get 2 more, only 2 more, we don't even have to meet the goal technically. And we'll run this for a whole nother hour. Just keep talking about horror films. It's crazy. I'm all about it. The horror show is saying, so what they should do is Final Destination 7 Bloodlines Part 2. So we're interested in seeing this this story continued then. Is that what I'm hearing? Are we interested in seeing more of the Skyview Tower incident, like building upon that? Because I wouldn't mind that. Maybe there was something in Iris's premonition that she might have forgotten. You know, maybe there's more to it than just she was the last one to die. There was more characters that got killed. Ooh, here's an idea. Pause. I have a thought. I have a thought. The tower was supposed to fall over, right? What was it supposed to hit? Was the tower supposed to hit like an entire town, perhaps? Like an entire neighborhood? Maybe a whole nother building full of people? Were all those people supposed to die? Did one of them have a premonition that ended up going nowhere? What's up with that? Could we build a film off of this film that is kind of separate? And now that everyone's been killed from the Skyview Tower accident, now we're moving on to the next set of people that were supposed to die after this bloodline. It's a thought. Maybe it's a stretch, but it's a thought. That could be cool. That could be really interesting. So just a thought there. We'll throw that out there. See what you guys have to say about that. Does the tower collapse onto another building and kill a bunch of people? Could we talk about that in a new film? Another entire bloodline of people who are supposed to die. My Chunky Jordy threw another super chat out there saying, I keep forgetting to say I'm enjoying this chat. Good. I'm glad you are. That makes me very happy. We are having a very fun stream tonight, which is great. I just love when we're on a roll like this, like everyone's just throwing out some crazy shit. We've had some really good conversation tonight. So thank you all for joining in. Really does mean a lot to me. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the $2 too, Gina. Samantha Robinson was saying, kind of mad my pizza craving made me miss half the stream. You're all good. Listen, if there's anything I understand, it's a craving for a very specific food. My one passion that I've decided I will never monetize is my food. I'm a foodie. I am such a foodie. I'm nowhere near picky. I will eat whatever weird shit you serve to me. And I love it. I love weird food. I love seeking it out. I love finding a good place for said food. It is a true passion and hobby of mine that will probably come back to haunt me one day. But I'll tell you what, some really good stuff, really good food in this world. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are getting some deep dish pizza tonight because I haven't had it in a very long time. We're hanging out with our family, and we're gonna try a deep dish pizza place out that my family has not tried before, but I have, and I recommended it. I really enjoy this place quite a bit, so I'm quite excited. I am quite excited, let me tell you. But let's get to some more of these super chats. We've officially hit the goal, by the way, so we're going for another hour, baby. Let's go! Rock on! Erica, thank you for the $2, saying we are about to hit the goal. Appreciate that a ton. And hit it and quit it, the goal, I mean, also from Erica. We certainly hit it, and we are certainly quitting it. Erica, thank you again for supporting the page. Thank you guys for helping us reach our goal tonight. Really does mean a lot. Let's keep talking about horror. We got a whole evening of horror now, not just an hour. I love it. Erica, thank you for your support. It means a ton. Queric V is also hanging out with us, longtime member of the page. Welcome in, welcome in. Sorry I'm late. Good people, what's happening? Thanks for being here, Queric. We're talking a little bit about Final Destination Bloodlines. Again, this is a spoiler stream, and I'm just realizing now I did not put spoilers in the title. But since the film has been out for 2.5 days, we are talking spoilers for it now. And just a word of warning: if you have not seen the film, Queric, I do really appreciate you supporting the page nonetheless. But I would hate to spoil this film for you. And if you have not seen it yet, go check it out and come on back. We'll probably still be talking because we're going for a long time today. But let me know what you think about it, Queric, or any other weird thing in the space of horror at this point. We're going to open up the conversation to just about anything. So anything you're excited about, let me know down in the chat. And we will try to get to it. There's a lot of stuff that I also have not been able to talk about on the page. We have a really interesting trailer that just dropped for The Long Walk. It's an adaptation of the Stephen King short story. Is it a short story? I believe it's a novella. I don't know. I'm just going to say things wrong at this point. It's a shorter story, however. I have read it a very long time ago, all the way back in high school, which unfortunately is coming up on 10 years ago for me, and I feel so fucking old. God. But I'm quite excited for this one. It had a very strong trailer, in my opinion, and it's a really unique concept. If I'm not mistaken, it's being done by one of the guys who was involved with the Hunger Games too, which feels so perfect for a very dystopian story from Mr. King, and I can't wait to see this one. So a fresh Stephen King story coming to the screen, which has not been adapted before, even though some have tried, and I'm quite excited for this one. So let me know what you guys think about that one too, if you have any sort of excitement for it. Space VYX. I feel like we're in a Star Trek episode now. Space, the final frontier. I gotta start talking with staccato sentences, like William Shatner. Huh. 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 The kid got what he deserved with the piano. You used a super chat to put that out there. I love you. I love you so much. That is fantastic. Yes, he did. Yes, he absolutely. Fuck them kids, dude. I have never felt that way about about a character in a movie more in my life. Oh my God. He basically made all this happen. It's bad luck to steal coins out of a fountain. We heard that from one of the damn characters in this movie. Crazy. Crazy, man. I'll tell you what. But I couldn't agree more. Fuck them kids. Can't believe that shit. And again, I can't stress it enough when I say that might be the most murderous penny in all of cinema, which is insane, man. I don't know what's up. It's just very funny to me. I love that the penny just kept coming back. Some really good setup and knocking them down elements to this one. Certainly very fun. Kyber Games bringing up another really good point here. The Eric piercings in the MRI were painful to watch. I was thinking they would go Terrifier in gore territory. You know, I don't know if it ever reached those levels for me personally, but I will say that was brutal, dude. Oh my God. That was hard to watch. I don't personally have piercings myself. My girlfriend does though, and I can't wait to make her watch this movie. I'm so very excited. She is going to be like, oh God, horrible. Why would you make me watch that? Queric is concurring, saying, fuck that kid with the penny of death. I truly, I cannot agree more. Misty Womack is saying, hey, hope everyone is great. Hello, Misty. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for talking a little horror. I love it. And you know, one more thing I do want to throw out there, and we're going to get to a very fun super chat coming up ahead here. Erica did just throw out some links for the gaming channel, and I'm so sorry I sound like a broken record on this, but we are trying to get that bad boy to 1,000 subscribers sometime soon. I'm going to shut up about it, especially because I know a bunch of you are already subscribed. So thank you for that. Appreciate you bunches. But let's subscribe to the gaming channel. Even if you're not big into horror gaming, it would help a bunch. So go check it out. Hit that little red button. A Krenich throwing $5 out there. Thank you for the support. Saying The Long Walk is my favorite Stephen King 20 years after my first read. Hell yes. I got to reread it because it's been so long. I do remember liking it. I was reading it around the time where I was really into like dystopian style stories. What's the other one that I always forget the name of? What's the really dark dystopian one about the mind police? Oh, what is that called? Someone will know. Someone will know what it is. Another one I read in my sophomore year of high school that I remember loving. I was like, this is so fucking horrible. That's why I love it. Someone's gonna have it. Someone's gonna have it after Mind Police. I can't. Fuck. What is it called? Oh, it's gonna kill me. But you said I reread and re-listened to it regularly. I am pumped. I've only gone through it once. Again, it's been a long time, but I'll have to sit down and reread it before we get into this one. This new movie. I'm quite excited for it. I love when weirder Stephen King stories are adapted to the screen. They oftentimes sometimes they'll have like a very faithful take, but sometimes they do something weird. Gerald's Game, I think, is such a great example. Hello. How are you? Madison is watching her YouTube videos and vibing out. She does not want to watch me though, so I am a little jealous. She literally has my stream up on her phone. I gotta shut up.
Hold up, okay? I got your devices here, okay?
I'll shut up. I'm so sorry. I'll never doubt your support of the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel ever again.
You shouldn't. You know my
Oh
setup
man.
that I have going
Oh
on
man.
right
Yeah. I love that. I love that setup. She is watching me on her phone and she's watching other YouTube videos. Besides that, fantastic. 10 out of 10. Let's get back to this. I love when we get a weird Stephen King adaptation, though. Gerald's Game, I think, is one of my favorite examples because that is notoriously not a very good story from him. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe he wrote that like right after he like got sober, like got off of coke. So it's like it's kind of him trying to figure out how to write again, like sober. And I remember just like not loving it. I remember putting it down the first time I got through it. But I did really enjoy the movie adaptation. I feel like Flanagan fixed a lot of the weird things that I didn't like about it. So personally, I loved that. I'm really excited to see what this is all about. The Long Walk movie, that is. And I love Stephen King so much. I love his stories. I love the guy, and I'm just really excited to see what comes next from him. But A. Krenich, I'm glad you're excited about it too. Thank you again for sending in a big super chat. Really does mean a lot. Let's see what this next movie's all about too. Lisa S is hanging out with us saying, what's your ranking of the films? Yours is 361254. I feel like we've seen a lot of rankings tonight, and I feel like 4 is almost always at the bottom. That's like the only thing I think is consistent. A lot of people have a different favorite, which is awesome. I think that spells for a really good franchise. I'm so interchangeable with this series. I think as of right now, which I think I might have given a different ranking last night, but again, I woke up in a different headspace this morning. My ranking sitting on it now, probably 261, 261, 5, 3, 4. I want to put 5 higher than that though, because I love 5. But there's things there's also things I don't love about 5, and I got to just admit that. That ending is so strong with that 5th film though. So loved it. I hear you on that ranking though. I love putting 3 first because 3 is so underrated. 3 deserves some love for sure. So Lisa, I love that ranking a ton. Your favorite liar is hanging out with us. What's up, favorite liar? How are you? Are you still lying today? That's my question. Saying the ending has to be a premonition. The reason why is because Stephanie never had her own premonition. And also she pricked her finger the same way others do whenever they get a premonition. Oh my God. I didn't even think. Whoa. Hang on. Pause. Everybody stop the presses. I didn't even fucking think about that. She pricked her finger right before. Oh my God. I'm clutching my pearls. If I had pearls, I'd be clutching them right now. Wow. Are we going to get a Final Destination 7 that picks up right where we left off? And it's just Stephanie like, something bad's going to happen. We got to move. We got to go. Shit, dude. I didn't even think about that. That's fucking... That blew my mind, is what that just did there. Because, yeah, she pricks her finger the same way Iris does. What's up with that? There's a whole lot of parallels in this movie, let me tell you. What's the first shot of this film, might I remind you? The train tracks. Where does that go? You guys know, for those who have seen it. And those who are watching this stream, who did actually watch the film. I really hope I'm not spoiling this movie for anybody. I'm just some sweaty guy on the internet. This is a full movie that like hundreds of people worked on. Go watch it. It's good. It's worth your time and money. I promise. But the premonition was of something that didn't actually happen. She stopped it. Also, could she not Google the event and find out that the sky view didn't actually fall? So she's dreaming nothing. I guess she never Googled it. I guess she never did do that, which I think is interesting. Stephanie I think she's a little more concerned about like just this secret about her family she didn't know about. I guess that's kind of, that was my explanation. That's what I was thinking about in the film. That is a good point though. I was thinking more about that. I was like, why didn't she just Google some of these things? What's up with that? I think the moment she finds out that she has a secret grandmother, like that's what she's more interested in. She's like, what do you mean I have a secret relative I never knew about? That to me, I could explain that, but you might have an issue with that, and that's totally fine. Again, I'm a little more loosey-goosey with this series. This is such a different franchise than some of the other ones we talk about here, which are all like building a gigantic epic story. Some of them, not all of them. Final Destination to me is like, this is a big fun event horror film. Let's just go to the theater and see a bunch of people fucking die. So I don't know. I've never seen this franchise, at least in my opinion. I've never seen the series try to build some kind of bigger story like that, where a lot of those connections like need to make sense. I'm just here to have fun. I'm here to watch some people explode into bits from a bunch of different weird shit. Doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the franchise. I guess I just have different priorities. Priorities when it comes to this one. Why am I pronouncing every single letter of that word the way that I did? I don't know. A. Krenich is also talking about The Long Walk, going back to that one for a second here, saying the director did several of the Hunger Games, and it's going to be super bleak and brutal. I'm down for that. I'm so down for that. Another film, I should just say, where like pretty much all the characters are going to die, except for one, as the premise would suggest, right? I am so excited to see what they end up doing with this. Do they change anything? Do they make it the same? Do they make it even more bleak and brutal? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm quite excited. It's a really good story, and I can't wait to see how it translates to the screen, right? So it's going to be fun. The Hunger Games influence, I think, is great because that's such a dystopian series that, again, is a little more teen-oriented, and I feel like there's going to be a hint of that here in The Long Walk, but it's not going to miss out on some of the very bleak, brutal tone that you're talking about there, I think. So the story, at least, definitely captures that. You know, reading The Monkey earlier this year and then going to see that film, you want to talk about Stephen King stories that are just completely different from their adaptations. The Monkey is so different. I mean, the story versus the movie, and I personally like the movie a lot more. So you got to wonder if the same principle has been applied here. Didn't J.T. Molnar write this one? A. Krenich, correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I believe it was him who wrote one of my favorite horror films. Or I should say directed one of my favorite horror films from last year, Strange Darling, which was, that was good. That was really fun. So if he's writing and we have the director who did several of the Hunger Games, I mean, this is going to fucking rock, I think. So rock on. Definitely one that I wish I had covered when it came out, but I was taking a little break from YouTube at the time. Space VYX is saying, I wanted to see a train kill, but I forgot part 1 did it already. And part 3 as well too. We got some train kills there too. A subway. So, you know, is that different? Maybe. And that's totally fine if it is to you. But I do think that's cool too. So yeah, trains have been done a few times in this series, but I thought it was just a silly, crazy way to end this film. Well, what a good time. A good time was had, I should say. Dragon Ball Radiant was saying it sucks that even Bloodworth in the end couldn't beat it. Nobody can cheat death. You know, nobody can truly cheat death, I should say. It's always going to catch up with you. And I think that's the horror of this series. It's not a slasher that's coming after you to, you know, potentially take you out way before your time, way before your expiration date. This is just death itself, an inescapable force. You know, I think that's why you always have to have a tragic ending with a Final Destination film ultimately. Because it's like, yeah, you can cheat it for now, but it's coming for you eventually. You know, eventually you're going down. That's just the way it goes. And I feel like, you know, when Iris dies in this film, there was a part of me that was like, why would she do that? You know, why would she step outside? But I'm thinking about the situation. Right? Like, I mean, she's had all her entire life to think about this and prepare for it and completely avoid it. And eventually, I think you got to just kind of accept your fate. You know, I'm thinking about the 5 stages of, is it the 5 stages of grief or whatever, where it's like, when you go through that, you eventually get to acceptance. And I feel like that's kind of where Iris, where we meet her at. We meet her at that acceptance point. And that's kind of why I'm totally cool with it. It's sad, it's tragic, but that's this franchise. You know what I mean? It's very fun. It finds the fun of a lot of those late 90s, early 2000s Scream-inspired horror films. But it never lets you forget that this is horror at the end of the day. This is going to be a tragedy. We are watching people like fucking die, basically. But we're going to have fun doing it. And that to me is the juxtaposition about this series that will, as long as you have that, nothing else matters. We're going to have fun with this. As long as the new films in this series that keep coming out understand that, then we're golden. And that's what I just love about this series. I don't know. I could go on and on about it. Shot by Shot is joining us too, saying, "Hey Jake, sorry it's been a while since I've been here." You're all good. Thanks for being here now, my friend. Thanks for being here. Oh man, you guys want me to get back up on my soapbox. Shot by Shot is saying, what's your thoughts on the new Jason design? What the I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's coming from Greg Nicotero, apparently, who is like this legendary special effects makeup artist, has designed some of the coolest shit that we've seen in movies. And I don't know. This is the weirdest Jason I've ever seen. It looks like they went to like a AI image generator and were like, make Jason. Just make a new Jason design. It looks fucking awful, dude. He's way too skinny. Why does he have a unibrow? It doesn't look like a real hockey mask. I was not a fan. I'm just not a fan of the way new Jason looks. I'm not a fan of the Jason universe either. I don't feel like that's too crazy of a take. What are they doing? Like, what are they actually doing? They have announced nothing yet, and yet they're announcing all these like fluff nothing updates about the series and not actually doing something. We don't care that Jason has a shitty redesign. We don't care that you're building a whole universe around Jason or products and fake video games or whatever. Give us some sort of inkling of you're working on a movie. That is literally all we care about. Give us something, for the love of God. Stop announcing all of this other bullshit that we don't care about. I don't like it. I don't like the design, and that doesn't exactly spell a very positive future for whatever the fuck this Jason universe thing is. So sorry I got a little passionate there, but goddamn, I want some Friday the 13th stuff to talk about, man. And that's nothing. I mean, that's nothing to talk about. That rant was it. I don't know. Weird shit, man. Oh my God, I haven't seen this face in forever. GullGotha is hanging out with us, ladies and gentlemen. Has not been around the channel for too long. What is up, my friend? How are you? Are you still alive? You're still out there with us. Welcome back, I should say. Bloodlines makes the franchise way too confusing story-wise. Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supposed to be families created by the tower getting cleaned up? If not, how does the order adjusting, adding in more skips? I don't think 1 through 5 had anything to do with this one, personally. I think that they do mention Kimberly Corman in that one scene with Tony Todd, but I don't think that was supposed to say like, oh, she was a survivor of the tower. I think I was just wrong. That was the theory we had on this page. I think I was just wrong on that one. So I think 1 through 5, they're just separate premonition stories is my guess. And I think that's just the best way to go about this franchise. Keep little pocket stories about things happening. I mean, GullGotha, I'll be real. You know, I will defend this film because I personally really enjoyed it. But I do get, there's plot holes. I mean, there's things I have issues with it. You know what I mean? In if we're getting real critical about it, but I had fun with it, and that to me that's really all I care about, I guess, when it comes to Final Destination. Again, a little more loosey goosey about this one than some of the other franchises we talk about on here, but that's okay. That's okay, in my opinion. You know, we can have just dumb, turn your brain off and watch a bunch of stupid shit on screen kind of movies. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's kind of what this series is to me, and I love it. I will continue to put this franchise on when I just want to watch some people die, you know? I love complicated horror movies too, that are fucking out there and explore some really high concept ideas. But sometimes I just want to see I just want to see people have a premonition and it just can't escape. They just can't escape. It's just fun. It's a little cynical, and it's a good time overall. Dragonstorm 1, 2, 3, 4. I just wanted to put it out there. I predicted exactly who William Bloodworth really was on this channel before seeing the movie. Hell yeah, dog. Rock on. You get yourself a high five through the screen. It's a crisp one too. Bam. That was. I think I hit you in the face there. I'm so sorry. Let's try that one more time. Okay, we got it on the second one. Rock on. Kyber Games is ranking this series with 3, 6, 5, 2, 4, and 1. Ooh, throwing 1 at the bottom. Brutal take, but I love it. I love the love for 3 too. So many of us really feel that 3 is underrated, and I agree. I think 3 is it's up there, man. It's freaky. It's a fun time. I like it. It's kind of a return to the more brutal pocket story form that two tries to make it like kind of too big in my opinion, but I like that 3 is just, here's another group of people who are also going to die. GullGotha was saying the film was definitely entertaining. I'm more so trying to make sense of the 97%. I had some questions earlier Blucka. I had some real big questions earlier on what was going on with the whole bloodline thing. I feel like it is it's messy. You know what I mean? It is a messy film, but we can look at most of these movies and say that. I feel that's nothing new for this franchise. Final Destination 2 is very messy in my opinion. I still love it. I still have a great time watching it every single time I see it. But did all those characters need to be like replacements of the characters from the first film? No. Like that's such a, I don't know. I don't know if that works for me necessarily, but there's things about this film I've kind of, criticized a little bit. I don't know if I love the garbage truck kill. I don't think it looks very great. Some of the VFX just in general is just kind of like, ugh. But there are some really creative ideas in here that I had a great time with. I don't know. I love the Skyview tower fall. That whole sequence made the movie for me. I was like, I am on board after this. That was fucking crazy. So I definitely had a good time with it. Your Fubar is saying, how do you like the ending? I think them both getting killed by logs was cool, but one could have been hit by a train wheel or ground into paste, stuck in between the train and the road. I do like that. That is very fun. I think just the pure shock of it is what I loved so much about it. It's like we literally were like, oh, we had this climax and our characters are fine. They're moving on to the next thing. And then we have this doctor character so conveniently at this at this last scene coming in and being like, technically you didn't die. Technically you just passed out and you were resuscitated. And then the fucking train goes off the, like, it was so Final Destination. It was like putting the bow on, you know what I mean? It was the cherry on top of a already pretty fantastic Sunday is how I feel about it. You can't end these movies without a bunch of people dying, I feel. You gotta, you definitely gotta have that in there. This is a spoiler stream. I should just change the name like literally right now. Do you guys mind if I just do that for 2 seconds? Because I feel so bad. We keep having people coming in and saying, is this a spoiler stream? I should have put that on the thumbnail or the title. So apologies on that. I figured having the spoiler stream yesterday and then doing this, there wouldn't be that confusion, but we're seeing that right now. And I don't want anybody to get spoiled. So if you're going to be bugged by the fact that I'm playing on my phone for 2 seconds, I'm so sorry about that. I am totally rambling right now. Can I not change this when it's live? That's so funny. That is so cute and silly. Is there any way that I can edit this while we're live? Let's see if I can do that. Bear with me, folks. I appreciate you guys a ton.
What are you doing?
I'm writing spoilers ahead. And I think we're golden.
Did it kick everyone out?
If it kicked everybody out, I'm going to cry.
No.
You will see a grown man cry on stream tonight. No. And we have spoilers in the title. There we go. All right. No more people getting spoiled. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Let's catch up here. See what else is going on. Back to your Fubar. We'll say hi to this fellow one more time. How are you? How are you, Fubar? Do you watch the show, the Schwarzenegger show? Let me know. I think they had a Flight 180 Easter egg in the beginning of the film with one of the car's license plates. Oh, was there a 180? Ooh, I might have missed that. I did see the all the different Easter eggs in the book though, which was sick. That was always real fun to see. Some good stuff there for sure. Froggy Fresh shitpost saying 7 premonition being 6's ending makes so much sense. We need more of the book. We need more of Steph predicting deaths since she only did that once. We need more creative deaths. Only doubt is that Craig Perry says the premonitions need to be relatable circumstances. Train at a neighborhood is not relatable at all. That's really funny. Yeah, I don't remember the last time that happened. I will say train explosion though. That happened here in Ohio not too long ago. Was that 2023? Huh? The train. Remember the train?
What train?
The train that derailed and all the toxic poison. Yeah. Went into the air.
Yeah. Late 2023, early 2024, I want to say.
Yeah, it was sometime then. So you could do maybe like a train, just like a train derailment in general. Maybe there's some like toxic goo coming off of it that we don't know about until now. I don't know. Just a thought with that one. Blucka is saying, I was so disappointed that they didn't take the chance to make a character not part of Death's plan, trying to intervene and save people, see how Death responded to that. Wait, hang on. I was so disappointed that they didn't take the chance to make a character not part of Death's plan trying to intervene and save people, see how Death responded to that. They kind of did do that though. With Eric. Eric was not part of the plan and they still had him die. You know what? That is kind of a little bit of an issue that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. We got an entire sequence where we were setting up a big kill with Eric and then he wasn't on the list. So why did we watch that whole scene? What was up with that? You know, why was that just a random occurrence in this universe? That was an issue I had, but we kind of did have, the character was trying to intervene and then Death still ended up taking him out. Shit got messy, as our characters were talking about later on. Yeah, I will say though, we didn't have the father, like the mom and the dad from both sides. And I kind of wish that they had gotten a little more involved. They kind of just felt like they were filling it in, right? Eric was the adopted kid, right? Eric was the adopted kid. He was from the mom's side, which wasn't in the bloodline. Technically, he wasn't Howard's kid, is what they explained later on. So they kind of had that. They kind of did do that, which was cool. That to me was kind of like how do I phrase this? The bloodlines thing was kind of new, right? Like it was new to say like, oh, this entire, like these families shouldn't even exist. That's why Death is coming after all of them. That was new, which was fun. But that idea, is that new? Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but have they ever killed somebody who like wasn't in the way of Death because they tried to intervene? I mean, we've killed other people who weren't supposed to die. Like is it the one character in 5 who just gets shot? He wasn't on Death's list or anything, right? I can't think of his name. Names are escaping me. But I don't remember if they had ever done that before in the franchise. I feel like that's a fresh idea too. So definitely some fun stuff in this one. Some new rules to know about moving into future sequels. Sergeant Sad Guy. Oh, I'm so sorry you're sad. Saying I would love if they would release Iris's book in full as like a collector's piece for like the DVD release. Oh, that would be cool. But that probably would be too expensive or time consuming to do. Well, you know, I mean, they put out a Necronomicon for Evil Dead, for instance. Like I actually have one here. My sweaty ass is gonna go pick that up and go get it. Cause I love this. You could do something like that, but with Iris's book, that would be fun. Hang on now. Hey, is that still over here somewhere? Y'all are going to see how sweaty I am. I don't even care.
For a second there, I thought you only had your boxers on. I got so scared.
How funny would that be?
I got so scared. I was like, Jacob,
just
no!
like butt cheeks in frame. I'm just like, what's going on here?
Dude, you're talking about being sweaty.
Just my swamp ass and on screen for all to see. But like this is a Necronomicon that I can't remember what studio put this out, but I love this thing. It is so cute. And inside, like they actually have like all the different like weird pages and incantations and shit, which is so like, oh man, I'll never read this thing aloud. Let me tell you, I ain't doing it. I don't care what anyone sends in. I'm not I'm not doing that crazy shit. But some really cool stuff like this. They could release something like that separate from like a DVD release, which I think would be cool. I'd pick that up. That'd be fun. Bunch of Easter eggs from the franchise in there. You're telling me fans wouldn't want that? Like I think that would be sweet. So that would be cool if we did something along those lines. Fenny is hanging out with us saying, "Sup? What's up, dude? How's it going? Welcome in." Blucka saying maybe his dad was in the tower. Hey, maybe. Maybe that was it. Maybe his dad was he fell off the other side of the building when when Iris and Bloodworth were going down. That's wild. I like it. You were gonna say the barbecue kid from 2, but he got pushed out of the way of a van, didn't he? Oh yeah, that was something we were talking about last night too. Is the idea of like they kind of forgot about the saving characters thing. Like if you push someone out of the way, they get like they reset the loop or whatever. I feel like to me, I feel like the rules of Final Destination are so messy at this point where I can see more potential fuck ups happening in the future. And that's again, is it anything where I'm gonna be like, movie is ruined for me? No. But it is going to get a little messy at times. I'm just, I brought up I brought up the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise last night and how messy that is. There's like 1,000 different ways to just stop Freddy now because of how weird those sequels get. But am I going to complain about a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie that takes down Freddy in a new way we've never seen before, nah, I'll still be vibing with it. You know, it's kind of the same. It's a similar thing, right? When it comes to I feel like just tone can really take you a long way when it comes to horror. I feel like when we're just having like a really fun, silly, you know, who cares what happens kind of horror film, I can get behind some more ridiculous stuff. I can vibe with it a little more. But yeah, I don't know, just my weird thoughts. Is there some hiccups? Yeah, sure, but I'm still vibing with it. Grumpy Gorehound, thank you for the 10. I appreciate that a bunch. Saying, hey, yo, just popped in. Did I hear it right that they use CGI on the crushed head in the trash truck scene and bad CGI at that? If so, I'm flipping the filmmakers off in 48 languages. Yeah. It doesn't look great. But you know what? I forgive that scene in particular because I think it has a really funny setup. Kind of a meta setup too, which is, you know, as a Scream fan, I appreciated. We have our characters walking down the street. Eric is making fun of Stephanie, saying, oh, death's gonna get me, you know, oh, I'm so scared. And he's licking a garbage truck and all that, you know, typical things you do as you're walking down the street. And she's pointing out, she's like, well, what if those tree trimmers fall over, it hits the guy with the blower, that makes the kid kick a soccer ball into somebody's head and you fall into the trash compactor or something. And then she kind of predicts exactly how another character that literally happens to a different character like 5 minutes later. And it's very funny. I think it's just one of those things where I'm like, again, this is very on the nose. It's very Looney Tunes, very cartoonish. But am I having fun with it? Yes. Yes, absolutely. The CGI doesn't look great, and that's the one big thing. But they do use practical effects at this one little cut shot after her head crushes. Ugh, doesn't look great. But they do have a practical arm that's covered in blood and guts. So there is that. I mean, listen, there's practicals used in this film. Just not all the time. Don't expect Terrifier levels of impressive gore on screen. But is it better than some of the previous entries? Yes, I definitely think that. Me personally, I think it looks a lot better than 3, 4, and 5 combined, if I'm being real, even though it doesn't look perfect. But you can definitely see the modern tech in there. You know what I mean? You can definitely see some of the more modern stuff there. But yeah, that could have been done practically. You know what I mean? There is some stuff in this franchise where it's like, how else would they have done that without CGI or VFX? You know, it would have been impossible. That's one of those things where I'm like, you probably could have gotten, you know, a head mold of the actress and all that and smashed it in a trash compactor. But you know what? Regardless, that's the only kill in the entire film where I'm like, ugh, you know, I don't know how I feel about that one. The rest of them look pretty good though. Not horrible. The MRI machine kill, just both of those, I think were both VFX looked good. I think they looked solid. So it's just that head crushing. I don't know. Something about that needed another pass, in my opinion. Alex Perguson is saying hello. What's up? Fenny is saying, I can see it. Iris locking herself up pretty much protected herself and her family, but her leaving and dying is the reason why deaths moved onwards to the family. Yeah, just going down the bloodline of the Campbell family that wasn't supposed to exist. I love it. You rank the franchise backwards, says Horror Show 654321. Because 6 is the bloodiest, than everyone and most brutal. Hell yeah, rock on, dude. I'm really glad you liked so this franchise just gets better with each entry for you. Okay. Hey, dude, rock on, man. Rock on. I know what's going on with it. Ask me. Hell yeah. Carrie Crave Cinema is saying, hey, I watched Final Destination Bloodlines yesterday, and Carrie, you're leaving me in suspense here. I'm dying. I gotta know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you liked it or not. The cliffhanger here is killing me. Blucka's ranking it 231654 because 654 don't really have any scenarios that make you want to avoid something like log trucks or roller coasters or airplanes. That's a very good point, I would say. I think, I feel you on that one. I feel like 6 especially leans into the more of the Looney Tunes stuff. I did, you know, I'm not going to lie, walking out of the theater, I'm looking around a little bit like, what the hell's going on? But I don't know. Yeah, you have a point though. I don't know if there's anything long standing from 6 in particular, or 5 or 4, where I'm just like, ooh, man, you know, anytime I get to that situation, I don't know if it's really gonna fuck me up. That's a good point. 2, 3, and 1 all have that though, right? Like there's something, yeah, getting on the highway, getting on a roller coaster, going on an airplane. You'll forever be thinking about those scenes in those movies where I don't like even the Speedway. Like I get the idea. If someone pitched me that, if someone was like, hey, we're gonna do an opening scene of a Final Destination where we started off at a speedway, you know, race car track. I think that's a good idea in terms of concept, but I don't know if it was executed very well. I don't know. There's just something about that scene that I'm just not, doesn't make me any more scared to go to the speedway than something like that. I think honestly, what it is there's no lead in. There's no lead into it. With 1, 2, and 3, you get to follow these characters going to this thing. You see them visibly scared to do the thing. And that sets up the premonition. That sets up, you know, these how awful these deaths are gonna be. And I feel like without that setup in any, well, you kind of have a little bit of that in 6 though. Hang on, actually, I'm thinking about it a little more. There is a little bit of that in 6 in terms of heights. Is there? I don't know how many. There are probably some. I mean, in like Seattle or whatever, but in terms of really high towers, I think this one kind of hit on that a little bit in terms of heights. Initially, maybe not so much the rest of the scene, but when they're going up the elevator, I felt that. I felt that big time when she's like, ooh, that elevator's at capacity. I don't know if we should get in there. You know, I kind of felt that. That to me was fear of heights, just simple fear of heights. You know, I don't know if it's necessarily a fear of the Skyview Tower in specific, right? But I was feeling that a little bit with the very opening. Maybe not so much of the rest of it, but I think I'd have to see it again. I'd have to see it again to really hammer home that thought. Carrie Crave Cinema finally giving us a resolution to that cliffhanger here, saying, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time. Seeing Bloodworth was great as usual, and his scene was heartfelt. Eric was a oh my god fave character. He had me cracking up. The music was perfectly placed. Rock on, Carrie. I'm glad you liked it. We were scared there. I was really worried for a minute that that we didn't know what you were feeling about it, but now we know, which is good. I'm glad you liked the film though a ton. Really makes me happy. It was a good one. It was a fun time. I had a good time with it. Catno Roar is saying, I know I'm never going to the Space Needle now. No, not after that shit. No fucking way, dude. Blucka is saying the Speedway probably felt underwhelming because you'd expect more car related, and it ended up being majority of CGI building collapse. That's a really good point too. I wish it was more about the cars crashing into the people. Yeah, there's a touch of that, right? But when it does happen, like when it cuts the couple in half, it looks horrible. It's like I don't know. That didn't look so great to me. So I agree. Yeah, the premonition isn't set up very well in that film, and I don't feel like it's executed all that well either. And that's how you're gonna start your film, you know, with some of the worst kills of the entire movie. I don't know. That's rough. I think with Final Destination, you gotta come out with a bang, I think. Anthony Jordan Movies and Gaming is saying definitely a flawed movie, but for Tony Todd's scene alone, it was worth it. I agree. I agree. I had a very fun time with this one, man, for sure, Anthony. That Tony Todd scene made me cry. I'm not even afraid to admit it. I was a babbling bitch in the theater with this one. Sketchy is saying in the Final Destination series, is this the first installment where the major premonition event doesn't result in any actual deaths during the event itself? That's a really good question. I don't know if we got that confirmed or not, if anybody actually died or not. We didn't actually see the aftermath. We saw, you know, what happens in the premonition, right? But we didn't see if nobody actually did die during the event itself. Wow, that's something I didn't think about. I'm going to guess with we have this one line from Iris where she said, I saved a lot of lives that night. You okay? Madison's just choking to death. It's fine. No, I can't. She's okay. We have this one line from Iris where she says, I saved a lot of lives that night. That to me is guessing, yes, she saved everybody's life, but ultimately they died in horrific ways. Yeah, I'm going to say nobody died. I'm going to say yes. It did not result in any actual deaths. That would be my guess. Maybe that changes in a future installment, or maybe there's something I missed. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. What do you think about the kid getting smashed by the piano? That was so good. I'm like so mad I didn't bring that up in my review because that was hilarious. He gets down the stairs too and then just gets hit with the piano. That's so fucking funny. Loved it. Night Owl 30 is saying just got out of the cinema. Oh my god, it was so good. Did they cut the revolving door scene that was in the trailer? They did. But here's the thing, Night Owl. We talked about this last night as well, and I'll bring it up here again. That did not result in a kill, technically, because it was Darlene in the trailer, who is, of course, the estranged mother character, who we get to meet a little later on into the flick. She wouldn't have died there because that would have been her like getting caught in the door. She was next in line at that point, and our characters probably saved her and then got her into the trailer. Here's why I'm actually kind of okay with that not being in the film, because they ended up cutting out a double beat. It would have been Darlene almost dying in the revolving door, then they get into the truck, and then they almost get hit by the log truck. And it's like, you're kind of just doing the same thing twice. You know what I mean? Darlene is up next. That's all we have to convey to the audience at this point. And we did it with the car scene. And you probably could have cut that out and left the other thing in. Yeah, I agree with you there, because I know that's probably going to be the counterpoint, right? But I'm glad that one of those things was cut. I'll say that. And we haven't seen the revolving door thing. Technically, it was just like a moment of the trailer. I would have liked to have seen how it went down for sure. I hope it's a deleted scene on the Blu-ray. But yeah, that was definitely something that I was kind of shocked wasn't actually in the film itself. They even left the setup in there, if you noticed. When they enter the hospital at first, there's like, I think Bobby has like a weird like little, ooh, you know, I don't think I should get into that revolving door. They totally set it up and then they don't go anywhere with it, which I thought was odd. So I wish that had been a kill. I wish that had been one of the big kill moments, but it was not, unfortunately. As much as, you know, and as much as I loved the spring in Bobby's head, I thought that was awesome. I almost wish we could have done a scene where maybe Eric gets out or Bobby gets out alive. Eric dies trying to, you know, save him essentially. And then maybe Bobby was the one to get crushed in the in the revolving door at some point. That could have been fun. Just a thought to kind of rework that scene a little bit, but it was still cool. I was sad that they cut it out though, ultimately. Sketchy is saying in the Final Destination series is the first installment where the major premonitions event doesn't result. Oh wait, I talked about that already. This is why I gotta stop going the wrong way in the chat. But Sketchy, thank you for being here, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. GullGotha. I butchered that. What's up, my friend? How's it going? Kept you intense. It was very intense. That's one thing Final Destination series never fails to do. I agree. It was very intense. It was very intense. It left you on the edge of your seat a lot of the times. We had a very fun time with this one, I think, for sure. Definitely see this one with the crowd. Surprisingly, I saw this one with the crowd at like 3 o'clock on Thursday. I can't believe there was a couple of people there. It wasn't full, but it was like 6, 7, 8 people probably. So, I mean, for 3 o'clock on a Thursday, that's a lot of people. Pretty cool stuff. Carrie Crave Cinema is saying, sorry to worry ya. No, you're all good. Ranking wise, you would go 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. Hell yeah. Rock on. You know, I really think like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 are like interchangeable for me. And then 4 is at the bottom. That's like how I would always rank these. Personally, so any sort of ranking like that, I would probably agree with is kind of where I'm at with this series. I really love most of these. Again, 4 is probably the one that I'm pretty sure would be at the bottom, just because I think there's the most things I don't like about this series very present in that one. A lot of like douchey characters just meant to be there so that you're enjoying them die. It's just like, okay, you know. The series has kind of done that a couple of times at this point. By the 4th entry, you're just kind of sick of it, you know? I also, like we were talking about the opening premonition earlier, I feel like it doesn't really work for me where some of the other ones really do. So a lot of things about 4 that miss, but there are some good kills in there. I can't stress enough how much I love the escalator one where the girl gets sucked into it and she's just like coughing up blood. That one's brutal. That one is completely insane. Really like that one a ton. Anthony Morano is saying the tattoo parlor trailer made me think this was going to have a super serious tone to the movies. Okay, I hear you. That's definitely not what we got. That is definitely not the film we ended up getting, right? I wouldn't mind a super serious Final Destination. I feel like it would be a tougher thing to execute. I think the original has a little more serious tone than some of the other ones, but there is still some silly happenings, right? There is still some goofy stuff going on, even in that first film. So I think it would be a tougher order for sure. We're in this phase with horror right now, especially where a lot of the stuff we're getting is much more silly. 2025, in my opinion, my professional opinion, not really, has been the year for horror comedy. Dude, without a doubt. I mean, like, horror comedies have reigned supreme this year with The Monkey, Companion, Final Destination 6, definitely being some films that I think most people would have on their top 10 lists for the year. I'm curious what else ends up being a big hit, because like Sinners obviously is like the biggest hit of the decade as of right now, and I'm curious what else ends up being like something that people really end up liking. Any other horror comedies that maybe we just don't know about yet, or are still on the way? I'm curious what else ends up defining this year, because for me, like, I feel like even still with everything that's happening still yet to come, I feel like by the end of 2025 we're gonna be like, this is the year for horror comedy, dude. It's killing it. It's killing it this year. The only two I've cared about were the first two, and I feel like this one is just about on par with them. Okay, Anthony, rock on. So you really like the first two, but not so much 3, 4, and 5. I get that. I think especially for like old school horror fans who just like love the practical effects, I can see having issues with 3, 4, and 5. I think the first time I had seen them, I just remember being like, this doesn't look good. this doesn't look good. I've really come to appreciate 3 and 5 I pretty much liked off the bat because of the twist ending, but 3 and 5 were ones that have grown on me a lot over time. But I hear you on that. Ozzy, not the lead singer for Black Sabbath, but with S's instead of Z's, is saying, for about 5 seconds, I was genuinely worried Bloodworth was going to die. The tone of this movie leading up to that scene almost had me convinced. My guess is he got an off-screen death, a respectful off-screen death, and that's okay. You know, I'm totally fine with that. We kind of set it up that way to say that he was next on the list after the Campbell family, and I'm I feel like that's a respectful way to retire the character, because we're not going to recast Bloodworth. That's ridiculous. We're not going to try to do that again with somebody else. It's just such an iconic role for Tony Todd. Let's leave it at that. You know, let's leave that as his last performance. And I loved it. I thought it was such a great scene, such a high point of this film, and definitely brought me to tears right at the end there. So it was awesome. So much fun. Night Owl was hoping for a Kimberly cameo, TBH. She is the only other official survivor now. Maybe we'll get her in the next one. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing Kimberly pop up in one of these movies, maybe getting an official death too. That could be cool. She is so far the only character who has survived all of this, which is crazy. So that's exciting. I wonder if we ever get her coming back. We know that AJ Cook was on set too. She visited the set and said, hey. We also know that a lot of previous cast members from the other Final Destination films were at the premiere just this past week for the new flick. So you got to wonder if they're doing anything with them or something else. You know what I mean? I feel like there's definitely potential for that. And I'm telling you, before sometime soon, we're getting some sort of announcement that Final Destination 7 is on the way. There's no way we don't get another one after how successful this one is going. So I really think more is to come. The potential for some sort of cameo like that is still out there, without a doubt. Sketchy is saying Final Destination 7 promotion must take place in a cheese factory. I like the idea of characters getting like succumbing to cheese. They just get like frozen in cheese and die. That's insane. I would not mind going out that way. If the last thing I taste is cheese, I'm not going to complain about that at all. Did you notice in the premonition scene, the car's registration was FL8 18E, i.e. Flight 180. Ooh. No, I did not until you brought it up. That's really cool. Stack be poppin'. What's up, Stack be poppin'? Someone said that earlier, but I didn't know exactly what the license plate was. That's cool, dude. Hell yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I gotta rewatch this one because I know there's stuff there. I know there's a bunch of Easter eggs and weird things I missed. So I'll definitely have to go back through this one, see what's up. We'll never forgive Alex's off-screen death, says A. Krenich. I completely agree. The brick is so dumb. At least give him a cool off-screen death, you know? Man, I hate that. I hate that so much. I know they couldn't get Devin back, but grr. Yeah, so I guess that's what it ended up being. They couldn't get him to be in the next movie. They did get Clear Rivers, you know, which is cool, but not him, which sucks. Because it would have been cool to have him pop back in and maybe get a real death, you know, not an off-screen brick. Like, fuck that. That's great. Come on now. What's up with that? Ghostface does not want Kimberly coming back because I don't want to see her actually get the stupid wood chipper death. I mean, a wood chipper would be a cool way to go out, though. I would not mind someone else, some other character falling into a wood chipper. My problem with it is we just never got to see it on screen. It was literally a part of the DVD extras of Final Destination 3 is where they killed off the character. And that to me is just like, it's so lazy. It's so weird. And I'm kind of glad that they retconned it with this one. It's just not necessary to tell that third entry story. You know what I mean? Just whatever. There's a character who lived. Fine. We'll take it. You know? I don't know. I want to see, this is a franchise that is so centered around kills. Give me more kills. Don't do things off screen. Come on, that's no fun. Carrie Crave Cinema is saying I never wanted Alex to die. I'd rather Kimberly go than Alex. Can we just like swap it up where she got the brick and Alex is still out there? Nah, that's funny though. If they ever introduce a lactose intolerant character to Final Destination, you know exactly how they're going to die. Cheese and milk. Cheese factory, lactose intolerant character. There you go. There you see, we're writing the next movie right now. There we go, baby. We're making it happen. Stack Me Poppin' is saying, I loved how violent the piano collapse in comparison to how gently the penny lands on it. I was the only person to laugh out loud at that one. That was very funny. This whole movie has like, I get what they're saying about the Looney Tunes edge to it. I still think The Monkey is a more comical film than this one, but it does have those elements of this feels like a Warner Brothers cartoon at certain time periods. But it's fun, man. It's definitely a really fun film. Blucka is saying, I wonder how Kimberly and Burke turned out since they got removed from the list. I am curious to see them, like, there's a part of me that wants to see like what they're up to. You know, I don't know if I need to see them die or anything, but it would be cool just to see if they're still kicking, still vibing out there doing something. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that one bit for sure. So maybe one day we'll see them again in one of these new films. Like I said earlier, Final Destination 7 is probably happening. Let's be real here. Night Owl's one criticism of this movie is that it was missing a sequence that would make me scared in real life. Everything felt very non-relatable. Blucka brought this up earlier, and I don't necessarily disagree. But I want to see this film again because I feel like the very opening premonition had me a little like, okay, I get the fear there. There's a moment where Iris and her boyfriend are going onto that elevator, and she gets this sense like, ooh, maybe we should wait for the next one. And she's like, no, you know, the guy's like, oh no, it's fine. Come on in. We got enough room for you. And it looks like they're at max capacity. That is like something I am so terrified of, is getting into a stuffed elevator and it just like snaps and falls all the way down. Now you're doing that with an elevator that goes like straight up into the sky. Ugh. I would want to watch it again though, to really be concrete in that opinion though. Cause does it still elicit that emotion on second watch? You know what I mean? Like, I think the log truck, Like every time I see that, I am like, fuck that, dude. I am never getting on the highway again. You know, like I feel like inside of me, I feel that. And that's like, ooh, man, I don't want to get on the highway ever again or get behind a truck in general after seeing that. Will I still feel that way on second watch with this new movie and that opening scene? I don't know. Oh, and I didn't even talk about this. Cat No Rar is saying when the elevator split that guy in half during the premonition by the elevator, I yelled out loud in the theater. It was so crazy. Like I was not expecting it at all. Oh, that was a really good kill. Man, I forgot about that. That might be my favorite kill of the whole thing, man. That was so good. Completely forgot about that until you brought it up. That was insane. He was goo in like a second. That elevator made him goo so fast. They could do another highway sequence featuring self-driving cars. Ooh, I wouldn't mind a modernized version of that, honestly, just because you would have different commentary. I like that quite a bit. There was this movie a few years ago. Is it Ethan Hawke? Where it's called, I don't remember the name of it. It was a Netflix movie where it was like the world was ending, and there's a scene where like all these Teslas are like driving as fast as they can and smashing into each other, and like the entire family has to like evade the Teslas, and it was insane. It was such a crazy sequence, but I'm like, this is a really interesting bout of modern horror right here. I like this quite a bit. So you could do something, you kind of do something along those lines, but like during a highway sequence with Final Destination, I wouldn't mind that at all, because I feel like there's so many new things to say about dangers of the highway nowadays than where we were in the early Leave the World Behind. Yes, that was it. That was it, Blucka. Thank you. There's so many new dangers to getting on the highway nowadays versus how it was in the early thousands. So I wouldn't mind an updated sequence like that at all. How do people think these deaths can actually happen? You can die from an elevator fall, which happened in the opening. So many people die from lawnmowers. I feel like the lawnmower death is pretty relatable. I just wish that I think a lot of the relatability in Final Destination comes from how you set up your death too. I don't really feel like there was a whole lot of setup with the lawnmower in this one. Not that again, I liked the scene; it was really fun. But I almost wish that they had done some sort. Well, I guess they did set it up because they have Howard mowing the lawn at one point. But just like a simple there's a rock in the grass or something, and maybe he has a conversation with Bobby or something like, hey, watch that. That'll fling right into your face or something. A simple thing like that would have been nice to set it up with some real life terror. I've cut the grass before 1,000 times, and something is caught in the blades or whatever, and it spins out the other way, and I'm like, if that shot towards me, I'd have a hole in me right now. Like, that is horrifying. Sometimes you just don't see shit in the grass and you don't even know you're going over it, right? So that's interesting to me. I do like the lawnmower death though. It was fun. It was bloody as hell, which was awesome. Ghostface is saying, by the way, Jake, don't know if you noticed, but during the ending, Charlie's date is wearing the same dress Iris wears for the tower scene. I did see there was some parallels there, which was cool. Again, when they're going, the first shot of the movie is them driving over the that same train track, which was sick. So yes, there was some really nice little parallels there. So that adds to the idea that the ending was actually a premonition. It could be. That could be a premonition again. That's a really fun theory. I really like that idea. I might talk about that in a new video. That could be fun. Letter A is saying GullGotha is coming up, fella. Hype for that. We'll see you soon. Yes, we by the way, that's something really fun I want to talk about. We have GullGotha on the horizon, which is going to be really fun. It is a horror convention essentially happening right outside of Ohio in like the top of Kentucky. In July, middle of July. And it's going to be a bunch of horror content creators. We're all going to be hanging out, talking YouTube, talking horror. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got to stop on by for that. It is, who else is going to be joining me? Doom Buddies, which is a podcast. We have Brandon from I Like Scary, who's a very good friend. Who Yurdy G, Toxic Icon Podcast. We're all gonna be hanging out there. It's gonna be a very good time. If you want to stop on by, say hey. I'm gonna be walking around all weekend. I have like a bunch of different panels where we're gonna be talking not only about like how to start your own horror YouTube channel, but also about just movies in general. It's gonna be a very fun time. I might even be sneaking onto one of the podcasts too. So lots of good stuff happening at this convention. I will be there all weekend. So stop on by, say hey. I'll be there. We'll hang out, get some food, get some beers. I don't know. We'll party it up. It'll be a good time. I cannot wait. I am very stinky in real life though, so make sure to wear some nose plugs when you meet me. I'm a stinky fella. So just just a word of warning there. Zach S is saying, just got back from seeing Final Destination 8 with my mom. Loved it. I love how Final Destination B. I was like, you saw Final Destination 8 already? Are you from the future, Zach? No, I'm just kidding. Final Destination Bloodlines, you loved it. I love how they handled Tony Todd's appearance. What a nice way for him to go off into the sunset. I agree, Zach. It was a ton of fun. Just a blast of a watch. A really good time overall. But I'm really glad you and your mom liked it. I loved that scene with Tony. It's so emotional. I had tears in my eyes. I don't even care. It was a great film. Really good time. Carrie's saying it's called deodorant. I've never heard of that before, Carrie. I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're talking about there. Alex Ferguson is saying they should do a mining accident in the next one. Ooh, kind of like a My Bloody Valentine opening. Okay, I vibe with that. That would be fun. I like that idea a ton. That would be cool. You could totally have a riff on that too. You could have a pickaxe going through somebody's heart or something. That would be fun. The letter A is saying, all good fella, the stinkier the better, down to grab some beers for sure. Hell yeah, dog. It'll be a good time. Thanks for reminding me about that, letter A. I've been meaning to talk about that more on here. So, Stack B Poppin is saying, have you played Make Good Choices? It's only a few dollars and is pretty much Final Destination the game. Ooh, no. I should put that on the gaming channel. That would be fun. We're trying to find some new games to put on there, especially cheap ones too. Let me tell you, I'm not paying the $60-$70 for Doom Dark Ages after some of those bad reviews. So yeah, okay, rock on, dude. I might look into that at some point. All right, one or two more chats. I think old Jake's going to be signing off because I am getting a little tired, gonna be honest. And we also are gearing up for a gaming stream over on GullGotha, which is a perfect segue from that last comment. Let me tell you, we're going to be playing some, Repo with some friends of ours. So stop on by for some shenanigans tonight. It is going to be a lot of fun, let me tell you. Space VYX is saying they should do a nuclear power plant accident in the new one. Oh, that's crazy. That could be something that affects future movies too. That's an interesting thought there. A nuclear power plant like explodes or something. Ooh, that's brutal. That would be really fucked up. I feel like you could have a little bit of commentary come from that too. That could be cool. I want Final Destination 7 to be random alphabet deaths, which no one sees it coming. Like they can't find the list. They can't figure it out. That could be fun. Like maybe they have a thought as to what it is, but they keep getting it wrong. And it's like, what? Why is this next person dying? Okay, that could be fun. That could be a good idea. That could be a really fun and unpredictable, chaotic feature here for sure. Eric playing Mortal Kombat 1 felt very fitting for this franchise. Mortal Kombat, I agree, because you have the fatalities. I mean, like that's such a big part of Mortal Kombat. So to see that alive and see that kind of be present in this series feels very meta, feels very fun. I agree. Erica is once again sharing the links to the gaming channel and the Discord. A bunch of really fun stuff over there. Guys, make sure to check that stuff out. Would mean a great deal to old Jake here. Again, even if you're not even into horror gaming, just subscribing to that page, helping us get to 1,000 subscribers would mean a great deal to me. Hopefully we can get that page to 1,000 subs sometime soon. So thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us during the Final Destination coverage on this page. I'm going to try to have one more Final Destination video come out tomorrow. I think I might change up what I wanted it to be. But something's coming up tomorrow. Check it out then. It's going to be a very good time. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will be starting I Know What You Did Last Summer coverage next week. Stay tuned for that. As always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Stay safe, everybody. See Final Destination Bloodlines if you have not seen it.